God.
There's 2 chairs over there. We don't like it. You get in the shower, but maybe you don't like it. You just got over it. Thank you.
Town of Evansville's Town Council for June 23rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. has started. May I get roll call?
Mayor Candace Machado.
Here.
Councilmember Deja Edwards.
Here.
Councilmember Greg Lustig.
Here.
Councilmember Alana Bino.
Here.
Councilmember Ernie Blackford.
Here.
Town Attorney Scott Murray.
Here.
Town Engineer Shane Porter.
Here.
Town Treasurer Lexi Erickson.
Here.
Fire Chief Leo Molson.
Here.
Public Works Director Robert Llewellyn.
Here.
Town Clerk Janelle Underwood and rest of the citizens.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everyone, before we begin, if everybody hasn't gotten the public comments rules and decorum for the meeting, please feel free to grab that as we will be adhering to decorum throughout this meeting with everybody being present. All right. The stream isn't working. Is it not working? The text message I just got.
It's not working.
It looks like is it live?
Oh.
Is it not working?
Yeah, there
On my
is.
phone.
It's responding.
Yep, now it is.
Okay,
Okay.
it's working now? Okay. All right, approval of agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
All motion?
Do I have a second?
A second.
Who was our second?
Sure.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Line item 1, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
All motion?
Do I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Line item 2, Liz Becker, City of Casper, the link and the assist. Ma'am, if you'll come up to the podium. And sir, that is with her.
Yes. Madam Mayor, members of council, it is wonderful to be able to be here tonight. We wanted to provide an update on Casper Area Transit to all of you, and also to present our budget request for the upcoming year. With me is Caden Cochran, who is our transit manager for Casper Area Transit. He's been with us for just over a year. Moved out here from California and quite likes it, wouldn't you say? Yes. So what I've done, and I'm going to have Caden help pass these out to you all, and then attorney, is a little bit of a handout that I wanted to step through on some of the highlights with Casper Area Transit. We have just celebrated our 4th anniversary. The city took over operations for transit in May of 2021. And what I've done is just a real quick summary of some of the high points. Casper Area Transit and the ability to have transit serve the Casper community exists because we are a metropolitan planning organization. And Casper and Cheyenne, because our populations are over 50,000, allow us to have a transit function and be funded through the Federal Transit Administration. And so we have had that opportunity for at least 30 plus years within the city. As part of the Metropolitan Planning Organization, we have some committees that make up the Metropolitan Planning area. Shane Porter and Robert Llewellyn take turns representing the city of Evansville, town of Evansville, on the Metropolitan Planning Technical Committee. And then the mayor also is on our policy committee. Those governing bodies, and Councilor Edwards also has stepped in before and served on the as a backup for the policy committee. Those are the decision-making bodies, and again, they oversee the ability to have the fiscal administration so that we can have the transit operation within this municipal area. Casper Area Transit staffing, I've identified as how we are currently staffed, which is in fact the manager, Caden, with me tonight. We have 1 supervisor, the 3 dispatchers, we have 2 lead drivers, 12 full-time drivers, and 7 part-time drivers. Again, this is to oversee both the door-to-door, which is the assist service that we provide, as well as the fixed route, which is the link. Evansville is primarily served by the orange route. And Wilma Mack has been your driver for many, many years and just loves Evansville. And, you know, having the same driver on that route is wonderful because she knows your citizens. They know her. And, you know, you get into a groove, and that's what we like to see with that orange route. The annual ridership estimates I've put down. On the annual basis, we see the link servicing about 110,000 riders. The orange route in Evansville on a yearly basis, we're looking at 7,000. The assist door-to-door serves about 43 separate consumers. And I do not have that broken down as to how many are in the Evansville area. But we are seeing a lot of growth year after year in the door-to-door service. I think, as and Caden would attest, truly ever since we had COVID, we've seen more and more people that want to be picked up at their doors and taken to their destinations. We've also seen an aging clientele through the census that, again, are seniors that want to be picked up at their door and taken to their destination. So assist, very, very important service. It's an expensive service. And we see that, again, servicing employment, doctor's appointments, as well as even grocery shopping. With the orange route, we are fortunate it runs up to the Walmart, which is, of course, a huge destination. And again, serves the Evansville area with that 2nd Street stop. Some of the recent accomplishments of Casper Area Transit that I wanted to highlight. In September of last year, we had a federal audit, which is called a triennial review, conducted by the FTA. Casper Area Transit was pleased to receive a perfect score. We are evaluated on 32 different audit situations, financial, governance, oversight, administration, and we were very, very pleased that we did have the 0 findings for the first time in transit history. So we did celebrate that with a notice with our city council. This year, we have replaced 6 of our aged vehicles. We are under mandate with the FTA to have a transit management plan. And with any fleet operation, as you can imagine, we typically run the buses about 10 to 12 years. And we're usually looking right at about a couple 100,000 miles on our fleet. So we run them, but we also recognize that it gets to the point of balancing maintenance with new purchases. So this last year, we were finally able to catch up, and we're able to get 6 new fleet vehicles in. And the reason being is all of the suppliers, as you all well know, were behind in supply chain, and we would order a bus and it would take 2 years to get here. So we are finally, knock on wood, caught up. And so we try to replace 2 to 3 fleet vehicles a year. Your bus is going to be scheduled for replacement in a couple of years, and we oversee the grant that we're able to get from rural funds through YDOT as a partner and get that bus replaced. But we're watching it. Maintenance is good, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. We do maintain that particular bus quite lovingly. We last year in the summer rolled out a pass and e-pass program. We got away from the plastic tokens that were being exchanged for everything but fleet rides, it seemed like. So we got rid of those and actually made it accountable for our riders to get onto the bus with a pass that was identified with them. We didn't need to know their name, but they were identified with an individual. So that person was responsible for a prepaid card and couldn't pass this around to anyone else. So we wanted to make sure that the folks that are riding the bus are the ones that purchase the pass, and that they are the ones that appreciate riding it and will honor that and have a destination to get to, and not just ride, in this case, the orange route around all day long, but actually have a destination in mind. So the e-pass as well as the regular pass program have proved very, very good. I know our seniors have appreciated not having to fumble for money. They are able to just get on with recognition and give their name, and it's preloaded into a program on the bus that they registered for that ride. They get on and we check their name off, and then that cost is deducted from their account. So much more streamlined. That data then has been able to be translated into better electronic reporting that we have to do to the FTA on an annual basis. So instead of doing manual counts on who our ridership is, these scan passes through the barcodes are allowing us to get much more technical with our data and be able to streamline that at the end of each year. MPO studies, again, the mayor as well as your representatives can talk about these too. 2 years ago, we had an electric vehicle fleet study that was mandated by the feds, did not come back favorable for the Wyoming area. The cost as well as the inability to keep batteries charged, the weight to the streets was not good. So we see you all are smiling, as Casper City Council was smiling too, but we did it. We did our study and we submitted it to the federal government and said we did this, but that was not a fit for the central Wyoming area. So as of right now, we do not have an immediate plan to roll out electric fleet vehicles here in this area. If you all want to debate about that, you can. So we're out a few more years from that. We also last year conducted a fare study, and we will be coming forward in a separate meeting to give you some updates that we're interested in doing with the fare study analysis that was done, because we haven't increased fares for 20 years. We have a route analysis scheduled for October of 2025. Each of the routes will be part of a thorough study. We do this every 5 years. Again, it's required by the federal government. And that way we can see which routes or stops, along the orange route are working, which ones, depending on how your growth has been, may need to be expanded. So that will be done beginning with a kickoff in October, again, throughout all 6 of our fixed routes. On the back page of this, I did an update also on the types of trainings that our drivers undergo. We have all of the traditional standard warm trainings that municipalities undergo. But we also this last summer made certain that all of our drivers were certified or recertified through the Transit Safety Institute. So we are up to snuff with that. We also conducted de-escalation training last fall. And as you can imagine, with society as it is, our drivers are faced many times with some situations on the fleet that they need to de-escalate. for themselves as well as for their fellow passengers. And so that particular training was conducted by the Casper Police Department. We also have been invited to participate with a course that Central Wyoming Counseling Center also teaches. So again, we want to keep our drivers safe, but we also recognize they carry very important cargo. And so the de-escalation training will be something and a safety focus that we continue to focus on. Caden serves on the state Y-Trans board, which is wonderful because that gives us a lot of face time immediately with YDOT and everything new related around the state with transit. And then he also serves on our Casper Council of People with Disabilities. That particular group through the city of Casper has really made some wonderful recommendations to just how we handle ADA needs within the city, as well as how we handle that with our fleet and our boarding capability this last year. Well, let's flip over to this next page with the photos of the buses. What we tried to do was to capture the new look of these fleet vehicles, but in the upper right-hand corner, as well as the big one in the middle of the picture, we purchased what are called low floor buses so that we do not have to have our citizens step up 2 or 3 steps into the buses, which we used to always have to do with the assist. We had the lift, but even though some people might want to go with a wheelchair, with a walker, even walking and stepping up in some of our inclement weather was always a challenge. So with this low floor bus, it comes in really curbside very nicely, and then the lift is deployed and the wheelchairs can get just rolled off the sidewalk without having to be elevated up to the side of the bus. So this was a new pattern that we wanted to try, and so we did purchase 3 of those, and you see those out and about with pretty much with our assist services. So that is kind of the overview of transit, and what I wanted to do was to step through real fast with you all our contract that we put together, because we needed to get that updated. And what I have done, Kate can pass those out, just got a draft, and then I also, Scott, have one for you as a draft.
Thank you.
Gotcha. I wanted to just run through the contract a little bit, and what I did was to highlight the sections that I wanted to bring to your attention. We are proposing a 1-year contract, and we are only doing a 1 year because we want to see what the results of the route analysis show when that is done a year from now. But in the contract for services with the town of Evansville, we are again proposing to continue to do demand response through the assist services, as well as the fixed route transportation, utilizing your bus number 94. That's on the top of page 2. Our demand response, as well as our fixed route, run in Evansville Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it's going to come into play here in a minute because we operate our routes typically on an 11-hour basis. So we're operating 11 hours. Typically takes an hour to do the orange route circuit. But we time our route. So even though we're spending an hour on the orange route, which is 11 hours total for the day, we are only spending 8.3 hours in Evansville, because we know that the orange route will leave Evansville. It will go into Casper and hit 2nd Street. Then it goes down kind of around the American Legion and loops back, and we come back in. So you're going to see out of an 11-hour day, we are spending 8.3 on that fixed route in this town. So that is part of how we have consistently, even when it was under CATSI, calculated what the cost per service hour is. Jumping down to letter G on page 2, I highlighted that we do have the option to alter fares, which we will be bringing to you all separately here in another month, because we are considering a 50-cent increase in our fares going forward. Jumping over to page 3, I have time of performance as being 1 year. Again, starting as of July 1st, or when the contract is executed for 1 year. We are proposing a cost, and we'll talk through this in Exhibit A, of $41,000 for the fiscal year. We do have in letter D, we typically invoice Evansville on an annual basis. And so what I'll do is to ask you to flip with me to the end of your section. And what we've done is to work out the calculation for how we came up with the 41,000. And you're going to see in the Excel spreadsheet, oh, darn it, Liz. Okay. I'm going to go by memory because I have managed to pass my, oh, there it is, Exhibit A. Perfect. Okay, so what we've done is to break down for the, since beginning July of 2025 through June, looking at the number of days that we would be serving the town of Evansville. Again, in the calculation, you'll see under the word hours, the 8.3 that I talked about previously, that we are servicing the town of Evansville. So doing that calculation, we come over to our cost per service hour, which includes fuel, maintenance, and personnel as the big expenses. We did take our salary or our hourly pay for our drivers up in January of this year to make them competitive. But we also have seen increases in maintenance. Insurance has just been, and I'm sure it's hit you all as a municipality too, insurance has been very high. But looking at the cost, we very much monitored strictly what the cost is on the maintenance of serving Bus 94. We didn't look at this as a calculation among all of our transit fleet vehicles. We looked at, in this cost per service hours, the fuel, the maintenance, and the personnel related to Evansville. And so we're looking at the $44.62 an hour. We currently pay our full-time drivers $22 an hour. Actually, our part-time too. It's $22 an hour, $22.21. And it had been $19.65 for a couple of years. In the column second from the right, the Black Cat grant is indicated. We are fortunate through YDOT to receive a grant that can help offset the cost of operating a transit operation. So we put the credit in there that goes to you. It goes to, we've got a credit to Mills, we've got a credit to the county, and we've got a credit into Bar None also. So then the balance is in that far right-hand column, and where we did in fact calculate the $41,000 fee. And I'm just rounding. For the last 3 years, beginning in July of 2022, we have charged the city of Evansville $35,214. So we have seen the necessity of looking at a $6,000 increase over what we have done for the last 3 years. And again, it does boil down to the cost per service hour went from $37 an hour now up to the $44. So that is, again, part of the increase that we've seen. But we did hold it flat for 3 of those years. The first year we were in operation, we still had CARES funding, so we didn't charge the town anything. We just were able to cover that through our CARES Act grant. But then again, the last 3 years, we've stuck with that $35,000 figure. So that is what we wanted to present tonight. And Kate and I would be happy to entertain any technical questions that you all might have about the operation or costs or anything. And we will, again, be getting back or getting the final version of the contract if you have input for your city attorney, and then we'll be working with him to get that brought forward to a future council meeting. But we wanted to get it out there today, Mayor, and get your thoughts or questions for us, or if you need any other information.
Any questions? Thoughts? Comments?
I'd just like to say, I've used your bus many a times picking up a car at a repair shop and stuff, and it's been a good service. So I find it really handy to go just do that, and yeah, take advantage of that all the time I can. So
Wow,
thank you.
that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I have a comment, actually. A question.
Hey, Counselor Edwards.
And I know we're not there yet, but my question actually is for Kaden. Do you think that when you guys do roll out the new buses that we'll get a low deck?
When it comes to that time, that would certainly be something we can discuss. If that's something that you guys are interested in as a township, we can definitely entertain that and get the quotes for it. Where I've seen the biggest benefit for the low bus is the ride comfort. So we've had passengers who are on the assist bus that have ridden it, and they've expressed that the air ride system on that style of bus is much more comfortable than the typical leaf spring buses that we've purchased in the past. So that's something that we can explore if that's something you guys want to do. We can get the specs for it and go from there and present that to you. And we have many vendors that will work for us. And the vendor that brought those buses have been very cooperative and very helpful with that purchase and the maintenance of those buses, because they are the first of their kind for us. So we've been very impressed.
And the cost was comparable to everything else we bought, so we did not pay more for that.
Yeah.
Is there also a 2-year wait on the low deck?
I'm sorry?
Is there also a 2-year wait?
No, those are much more readily available. So they're built on Ram ProMaster chassis. It's a 3,500 or a 1-ton chassis with a single wheel, and so it's more readily available because those are also like service vans for electricians, plumbers, things like that. So they're more easy to obtain than the larger size buses. We're trying to, especially with Assist, trying to make the fleets a little smaller in physical size for the buses, just so that we have that maneuverability and that safety aspect as well. But they're pretty quick to get. I think when we did this order, it took them from the time we signed contract to delivery was 4 months.
Yeah, it was super quick.
Yeah, so we were very happy with it. So. And then also the fuel savings on them as well. They have V6 engines in them. They're not as big and bulky, so we're seeing a reflection in the fuel cost going down. So that's definitely something we can explore if you guys are interested in it.
And we also liked it, and you all appreciate this, because we were struggling to get drivers with CDLs. CDLs are hard to get. And so we wanted to make sure we got a bus that with a 14-seat passenger, we would still put them through the same level of training, but you didn't need the CDL to be able to operate. So we've been creatively looking at all of our options for the last few years.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great question.
Thank you guys for coming.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving along. Line item 3, ordinance number 5-2025, an ordinance to amend fiscal year 2024-2025 budget on third and final reading.
Madam Mayor and Council, brought before you tonight is ordinance 5-2025. This is an ordinance providing for the amendment of the annual budget for the town of Evansville, Wyoming from July 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. Section 1, the following sums of money are anticipated as revenue for the general fund, enterprise fund, capital improvement fund, debt service fund, trust and agency fund, June 30th, 2025. The grand total for general fund is $10,097,261. Enterprise fund grand total is $4,579,868. Capital improvement fund grand total is $4,398,263. Section 2, there is hereby appropriated for expenditures from the general fund, and the grand total is $5,323,529. Section 3, there is hereby appropriated for expenditure from the enterprise fund, the grand total is $1,875,275. Section 4, there is hereby appropriated for the expenditures from the capital improvement fund, grand total is $2,870,843. And I will note that there was a change today, and that second page was sent out. Changes in the section 2, where we increased on the mayor and council expenditure and the fire department expenditure. It's brought before you tonight on third and final reading.
Do I have a motion to approve ordinance number 5-2025, an ordinance to amend fiscal year 2024-2025 budget on third and final reading?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Line item 4, ordinance number 6-2025, an ordinance for fiscal year 2025-2026 budget on third and final reading.
Madam Mayor, Council, brought before you tonight is ordinance 6-2025. This is an ordinance upon the amount of money necessary to defray all expenses and liabilities of the town of Evansville for the fiscal year of July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Section 1, the following sums of money are anticipated as revenue for the general fund, capital improvement fund, debt service fund, and trust and agency fund, June 30th, 2026. General fund, the grand total is $9,848,219. Enterprise fund is $4,343,297. Capital improvement fund grand total is $4,044,320. Section 2, there is hereby appropriated for expenditures from the general fund. Grand total is $5,094,188. Section 3, there is hereby appropriated for expenditures from the enterprise fund. Grand total is $1,688,006. Section 4, there is hereby appropriated for expenditures from the capital fund. Grand total is $2,599,455. It's brought before you tonight on third and final reading.
Do I have a motion to approve ordinance number 6-2025, an ordinance for fiscal year 2025-2026 budget on third and final reading?
I so move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? So I will bring back up what we tabled in the last conversation in regards to the tank recoding and the cameras. Those were the two items that we had talked about that would be tabled for tonight's discussion. In terms of the tank recoding, I will have our town engineer give some information in regards to that.
Okay, good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. So I wanted to just give you a little more information on the recoding project so you can make a better decision, but just some history. So the town's been monitoring the condition of the interior and exterior coating of the town's two finished tanks. We have one, or finished water storage tanks. We have one up at Home Depot, which is the one we're actually talking about tonight, and the other one's over by Texas Roadhouse. We've been monitoring those for years. Several years ago, we hired some divers, the town did, to inspect the tanks and provide an assessment of the coating. At that time, the reports were that the coatings are in, they call it good to fair condition. The poor is the lower level condition. They were calling it good to fair, with repairs needed in the near future, with tank 2, the one we're talking about tonight, being in the worst condition. So then tank 2 was most recently inspected again in August of 2024. At that time, kind of the same condition was reported. It was reported in good to fair condition. When the divers do come in, they make some small repairs with epoxy, underwater repairs. When they see a weld that looks like it's rusted out or whatever, they'll make some repairs. And so they've made minor repairs throughout each inspection, and we were hoping to continue that with using the divers and doing some, kind of small repairs as needed. However, in February of this year, a leak was noticed in the top 1/3 of that Scott Hill tank. So we actually had a weld that was rusted and was leaking water in February. We had a temporary kind of patch or plug put in February, and then in March, contractors were hired to come out and actually do a real repair on that leak. And so, just this tank 2, it's the original coating when it was built in 1992. So it's really, probably 10 to 15 years past its actual usable lifespan. And again, the inspections are indicating that they've been fair, but now that this leak occurred, it's got us real concerned. So when this leak happened, it actually prompted the town to meet and have a discussion on actual prioritizing some capital improvement projects. And we had a lot of projects that we talked about, but it was time to kind of prioritize those projects. And we discussed several projects at the time, but due to the leak in this tank and the condition of the interior coating, this project actually became priority number 1 through all the staff discussion. So during that discussion, it was determined that due to the apparent immediate need and lack of available grant funding, this project would likely need to be funded through reserves. And so at that meeting also, I was directed to complete the design of the project and complete the interior coating design and get the DEQ permit. And that was using excess funds from the current fiscal year water treatment plant budget. They had room to do that. So we completed that work, and we do have a DEQ permit to construct to move forward with the project. But it's something for you guys to discuss whether you want to provide those funds right now or not. So the budget, coating the tanks it's not cheap. So our estimate to recoat both the interior and exterior of both the tanks is $1.1 million to do the interior and exterior of both tanks. It was determined that the immediate need is just to recoat the interior of tank 2. So my estimate to recoat the interior of tank 2 is $243,000. We talked to McGuire Iron. They were a company that did the last time we did any recoating down at the water treatment plant. They did that work. We talked to them, and they provided an estimate of $225,000. So my recommendation is a budget of $250,000 just to be on the conservative side, just seeing how the bidding climate is right now. So again, this only to recoat the interior of tank 2. Tank 1 will need it eventually, but not as high a priority from what we can tell. And both the exteriors will also need recoated at some point in the future. So just something to be aware of and plan for. This is all in your report that I provided. There's several pictures in there so you guys can see what the divers saw the last time they were in there. Kind of gives you an idea of where the coating is peeling away and the seams are starting to rust in different areas. So we've looked at grant funding for these types of projects, but we just don't have much luck. They're more of a maintenance issue, and so not like a new capital improvement projects. They're more of a maintenance issue, and we have a tough time finding grant funding for these types of projects. So up for discussion. You guys can I'll try to answer any questions you guys have.
Any questions for Mr. Porter?
I have none, just if we have the excess funds from the previous fiscal, let's go ahead and get it repaired. Need to get it drug getting on here.
I agree. And then also I'd like to somewhat, obviously we know that they're saying that this is every 20 years that we need to do this. I think we need to bookmark something every year, 10,000, 20,000, whatever we need to do. So we're not in this predicament again when we're just like, hey, by the way, this is all bad and we are going to now be in, or how did the email say that we would be in violation?
We could be eventually.
Yeah,
if you're
we'd
getting a
be
bunch
in
of
violation. So I'd rather not have that for the city. And so if we can start bookmarking funds for that, would be a good thing.
Any other questions for Mr. Porter in regards to the tank recoating?
Are you gonna make a motion?
Let's do a separate motion.
Separate motion?
For the tank.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the $250,000 for the tank recoating?
All motion.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. The second discussion that we tabled was the cameras. No additional information has been brought to light in regards to the table discussion on the cameras. We're still looking between $32,000 and $37,000 for 8 cameras to cover the required areas of the town. That would be $32,000 to $37,000 per year, on top of all extra added expenses that we've been discussing throughout the meetings. But there is no new information that we've been able to gather at this point. Thoughts? Do we want to move forward with cameras?
Well, I for one will get behind the cameras. We do have $1 million playground we need to protect. These cameras aren't just $37,000 a year. They're gonna monitor Hat 6 and Western and Yellowstone. It's not speed cameras, it's not anything like that. It's Amber Alerts. It's gonna be stolen vehicles. It's gonna be stuff like that, so.
License plate readers.
License plate readers, so.
I, for one, don't want a license plate reader. Does everybody want trackers on what's going in and out of Evansville every day of every second? A license plate reader? I'm not necessarily a fan of that. I'm gonna say no. I would like to see cameras down at the park, but I don't think we need to spend $38,000 a year on cameras. We have a camera system already at the pump. We have a camera system already at the community garden. Yeah, they're not the greatest, but they're $200, not $38,000. I say we go something like that before we jump in to that amount. License plate readers that go all the way across and do all this other extra stuff that I don't see that we need to do. We are a small town. Yes, it is. We are booked and right next to Casper, but I don't see a need for that necessarily here.
That's what I was saying. we will be having cameras at Hat 6. There has been some trafficking issues, drug trafficking and other illicit activities over there that just cannot be covered. Methamphetamine has been a big issue. These cameras also communicate with our neighbor in Glen Rock and Converse County and other municipalities when they grow, and we can get returned stolen property to people, and we can make Amber Alerts that much more efficient. So this is not meant to be punitive to the citizens at all. So it's going to do that. It's going to protect our senior center. It's going to protect our property at the playground. So I for one to do that for protection, and we do have a labor shortfall in the police department, and those funds would be used as a shortcoming for that. So that's where the money would come from.
Any further discussion or thoughts?
My thought is that I do remember the email from the treasurer that came out. My only thoughts on it are, one, we have cameras already at the community center. 32 to 37 is a lot of money, considering we do have other fleet vehicles that we need to be replacing soon. I'm not crazy about cameras in our park. I do understand we do have $1 million park, but I'm sure Castle Park was a lot more than $1 million. Meth has always been a problem. Our officers work hard. They do their job. They do it effectively. They work with our other entities. I just wish that we could find a better price than between $32 and $37 per year. That seems like a steep cost for myself, when we could potentially use those funds in other areas. So if we could find a better cost for it, I might entertain the idea, but that's a lot of money.
Councilman, any thoughts down there? So motion for this as well. Do I have a motion to approve moving forward with cameras throughout the town?
I move.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
We're at a tie vote. I will be voting no at this time. Due to the current financial situation that we're currently faced with.
So then we would be amending ordinance 6-2024 to add an additional $250,000 in expense to the enterprise fund. So I just need motion carried on the first motion to approve the ordinance, and it would be as amended.
Do I have a motion to approve the ordinance?
To carry.
To carry.
To carry. It's already been a motion made and carried, or motion made and second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Janelle.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the 250 for the water tank, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Line item 5, replat 2-2025 and resolution number 4-2025.
Yep, that's me too. So before you tonight is a replat for consideration. So this is a replat application to create the Hat 6 West Number 2 addition to the town of Evansville. The proposed subdivision is a vacation replat of a portion of the south half of the southeast quarter of Section 5 and Lot 1, Block 1 of the existing Hat 6 West addition to the town of Evansville. So what this is, the plat is in your packet. Till Enterprises LLC is the owner of a portion of south half, southeast quarter of Section 5 and Lot 1, Block 1 of the Hat 6 West addition. The owner recently sold a parcel of property to the town of Evansville to allow for the extension of Mystery Bridge Road across his property to connect into Highway 2026. So when he sold that small parcel to the town, it left a little parcel off to the east side of the road that was kind of out by itself. And so his request was that he be able to do a replat to incorporate that small parcel into his adjacent lot 1, block 1 of the Hat 6 West Edition. So that's what this plat is, just to incorporate that small parcel into the bigger parcel and have one parcel. So I think that's kind of what I summarize. Let's see. Yeah. The property is currently zoned light industrial and will remain light industrial. The plat meets the minimum lot size requirements and all other requirements of the light industrial zoning district. Notifications were provided to the town of Evansville staff members on June 16th. Staff replied that they did not have any issues with the replat. Paul Svensson, the town surveyor, reviewed the plat and did not have any comments or corrections. So the recommendation, staff finds the replat complies with the requirements of the town of Evansville subdivision regulations and recommends the town council adopt resolution number 4-2025 approving the replat creating the Hat 6 West number 2 edition to the town of Evansville, subject to the following requirements. Requirement number 1 is that all block and lot corners be set as required by state statute. And requirement number 2 is that a digital copy of the plat, the drawing for the plat, be submitted to the town so we can incorporate it into the GIS. So staff recommendation is to approve the replat. So before you tonight is resolution number 4-2025. Just read it by title, or you got it?
Either one.
I can read it by title.
Okay.
Resolution approving the replat to create the Hat 6 West number 2 edition to the town of Evansville.
Do I have a motion to approve the replat 2-2025 and resolution number 4-2025?
I'll motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Line item 6, engineers report, resolution number 5-2025. Mr. Porter, you have the floor again.
Couple more things. So item 2 that I had to report on is the Lathrop Pathway Phase 2 Phase 3 TAP application. So this is an application, the town is planning to submit a TAP grant application for funding to complete the design of the Lathrop Pathway Phase 3. So Phase 1 was completed last year. Phase 2 will be completed probably early next spring, summer, and then this is for Phase 3. WIDOT is changing how the program issues grants and is requesting we submit an application to complete just the design work at this time. So this TAP application is just for the design work. Once the design is complete, then we go back for another application for the construction. It adds time to the process, but it's the direction that WIDOT is moving towards. So Phase 3 will take the pathway from the end of Phase 2, which is just past, just basically right at the east approach to the Aspens Trailer Park. That's where Phase 2 will stop. Phase 3 will take it from there down Lathrop Road to Blackmore and down Blackmore to the Rails to Trails right away. So before you tonight is resolution number 5 by title. It's a long title. Resolution number 5-2025 is a resolution authorizing the submission of an application for federal funding through the Transportation Alternatives Program administered by the Wyoming Department of Transportation for the town of Evansville for the purpose of the Lathrop Pathway Phase 3 Engineering Design Project. In the resolution, we're actually applying for $72,392, which is 90.49% of the design work. The town is responsible for matching the other 9.51%, and the town's percentage would be roughly 70. I can get it exactly. I should have it.
$7,608.
$7,608 would be the town's responsibility, the town's match, if this grant application is submitted and approved.
Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 5-2025?
I move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
So the next item I have is on the Mesa project, the Wyoming Business Council grant. I have a drawdown request number 1 tonight for that project, for that grant. Drawdown request number one is for reimbursement of invoices for some appraisal work that was done for the right-of-way dedication that was part of the project, and also several invoices from WLC for design and construction engineering. The total of the invoices is $24,421.61. The grant covers 88%, so the total drawdown request is $21,491 even. This leaves a total remaining balance on the grant of $8,943,220 or $222. The town will receive additional reimbursement from these invoices from the four other parties that were involved in the grant: Advanced Casper, Mesa Solutions, True Land and Realty, and Hat 6 Wildcat LLC. Their reimbursement to the town for this drawdown request will be $2,688.59. So after the reimbursement from the state and the other four entities, the town will be responsible for $232.01 on this drawdown request number one. So recommend a motion to have the mayor sign and submit drawdown request number one to the Wyoming Business Council.
Do I have a motion to approve drawdown request number one for the Wyoming Business Council?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Oh, still not done. Oh, next thing, on that same project, on the Mesa Wyoming Business Council grant project, we opened bids for the phase one of the actual construction work. We opened bids last week. This is for the reconstruction of Mystery Bridge Road and Wildcat Road and all the water and sewer improvements to go along with that. So on June 17th, bids were received from Wayne Coleman Construction, 71 Construction, Knife River, and Oftedal Construction. Wayne Coleman Construction submitted the low bid of $4,303,307 even. 71 Construction submitted the next lowest bid of $4,376,116.95. The copy of the bid tabulations is attached in your packet. The bids were reviewed and appear to be correct and responsive, so we recommend awarding Wayne Coleman Construction the contract for this project in the amount of $4,303,307 even. So before you tonight is I recommend a motion for the mayor to sign the notice of award to Wayne Coleman Construction for phase one of the Mesa project. I guess I should add, so our original, when we put the grant application together, our original estimate for this work was $4.8 million with contingencies included. So the actual bid's coming in, quite a fair amount less than what our engineer's estimate was. So, and the percentage of that 4.3 million, your guys' percentage will be, the percentages that I just discussed in that drawdown request. So that's roughly 1% is what the town's responsible for.
Do I have a motion to approve the notice of award to Wayne Coleman Construction?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
So the last thing, I just wanted to update you on the emergency connection project that we've been talking about for several years. The SLID board met last Friday on the MRG applications, the grant applications that we submitted. SLID did approve our grant application for that project, which is roughly half the amount of the project, $478,000 roughly. SLID did approve that grant request. So now that they've approved, now we will move forward with an SRF loan for the remaining half of that project. You guys approved that loan application several meetings ago, based on kind of contingent on this grant being awarded. So the grant has been approved by SLIB, and we'll start working forward on the loan application for the remaining portion to get that project completed. I think that's all I have.
Do I have a motion to approve the engineer's report?
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Line item 7, public comments. Sir, go ahead and come up to the podium, state your name, and we'll put 3 minutes on the clock so you can see the countdown. And it'll be just right over here. We do ask for decorum, and we do ask for you to be respectful during your time up here.
My name is Walt Behrens. I live at 1079 Cielo Vista. I've got a little bit of a water issue and a mud issue coming out of the lot to the south of me, which is Northrop's lot. It's washing mud into my yard, the neighbor's yard, down the street into the storm cellar or into the storm drain going to the river. Chief Thompson was working on it a little bit, so is Robert. I want to know kind of where the city's standing with this. I mean, we're washing mud down the storm drain. My gas meter's almost completely covered because of it, which is a safety hazard. The lady next door to me to the east is almost covered. He's got to do something with the stormwater coming out of his lot. The pipe he put in gets plugged up. I go clean it out. He don't do nothing. So I'd like to know where the city stands or where the town stands with this, what they're going to do.
And what was that business again?
Northrop Boiler Works. And I've been in contact with Mrs. Northrop, and she said, well, we're sorry we ever bought that lot. We've put tens of thousands of dollars into it and we're done. So it sounds like they don't want to do anything about it. So if they don't want to do anything about it, I'll get the DEQ and the EPA involved and my lawyers. And I'll need your card because I'm sure he'll want to talk to you too.
Also, Mr. Llewellyn, can you come up to the podium as well, our Public Works Director? Mr. Llewellyn, can you provide some additional information to council from what you told me?
So as it sits right now, we're still looking into what the town is able to do about the private property in question.
The thing is it washes the mud out onto the street, goes right down the storm drain. He comes over with a skid steer or a street sweeper, spends town money cleaning it back up. Northrop just gets to sit there and keep using their lot.
Mr. Llewellyn, have we been in contact with Northrop yet?
I have not, no, I did not want to reach out to the property owner until I knew for a fact what it is I can and cannot do.
Town attorney, do you have thoughts on what Mr. Llewellyn can and cannot do in regards?
No, not at this point in time. It's the kind of thing where typically those issues are gonna be between adjoining private property owners. But certainly I think that with the information having been presented to council, to Public Works, that we can look into the boundaries of what the town is able to do to help mitigate that.
Well, I can tell you what the EPA told me. They said that Casper has an agreement with stormwater shed program. They don't have it with Evansville, but if something isn't done with it, they will force the issue and it's going to cost money.
Thank you, sir. Well, we will look into this.
Can I get your card, sir?
I don't have one with me, but.
If you can write your name and number down for me, I'd appreciate it.
Was Scott getting the number for him?
I will.
I just want to make sure that he has the number before.
If any of you are interested, I got a picture of his drain that he put in.
Please.
Yes,
It's
Yeah,
a
that'd be
simple fix.
no, we would like to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
it's actually a simple fix. Put a 90 on his pipe, bring it up, put a platform on it, and then it'll drain the other way. That's his 6-inch pipe coming out of his property onto your guys' street.
Okay.
That's washed away quite a bit.
Mr. Llewellyn.
Oh, there's
have you
the,
seen that
I was
photo
just
as
like,
well?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't even see it. So you were talking, doing a 90, like where? Like right out of this?
He's got a little pond in the property
Okay,
where most of the water comes to that pond.
okay.
Well, he's just got the pipe laying on the bottom of the pond. If you put a 90 on the bottom of the pipe, about 2 or 3 foot, the water would go in and the mud would settle out. Of course, he's gonna have to go clean his pond all the time.
Okay.
But
Okay, I see what you mean.
And then
You said that, the chief had been involved in this?
yes, he went over and took some pictures and some other stuff. There's the pipe plugged up for the last storm that I went and cleaned out. And I do this every storm. I go clean his problem.
Seriously.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing us the photos. Hello, sir. Will you state your name, your residence, and we'll put 3 minutes on the clock. We will ask that you be respectful.
Can you write down the statute she's using to change the minutes from 5 to 3, please?
And your 3 minutes will start now.
My name's Ryan Perry. I live at 324 Curtis Street. And
What's your last name?
Perry,
Perry.
good evening, council members. I come before you today, not with joy, but with a heavy heart. I've lived in this community nearly my entire life. I went to Evansville Elementary. I've served on committees, volunteered my time, and worked to make this town a better, safer place for everyone. But today, I stand here deeply concerned and disappointed by the direction this town's leadership has taken. Our mayor has fractured the unity of this community. She has dismantled the sacred neutrality of government, something that should never be compromised. Under her leadership, this body has abandoned decorum, disregarded Robert's Rules of Order, and committed what I believe to be serious violations of the Open Meeting Act and the First Amendment rights, town ordinances, and basic fairness and transparency. Let's talk specifics. Pride flags were placed without public input or a council vote. This violates town ordinances unless done for a political purpose. And if it is a political purpose, the public should have been invited to comment, and the full council should have voted. The mayor changed public speaking time limits unilaterally without a motion, without a vote, without a second. This violates Town Ordinance Section 223 and 224, Robert's Rules of Order, and the Open Meetings Act. Citizens have been allowed to speak twice. If they agree with the mayor, others cut off. That's bias. That's unconstitutional. She made an agreement to remove all displays from City Hall, only to relocate them into her own office, denying equal access to others. I requested to post this "Pray to End Abortion" sign. I was told it's hate speech. My views are not allowed. The next day, I placed the same sign outside the City Hall. I did so peacefully for less than an hour each time. A respectful officer, following orders from the mayor and the town attorney, removed my signs. I was told I needed a permit to express my views on town property. That's against the town ordinance. Chapter 4, Section 4, 4-1-2 of the own ordinance states it shall not be necessary to obtain a license for political or religious advertising and signs. Yet in the memo dated June 19th, 2025 from City Attorney Aaliyah Scott, cited sections 4-1-1, 4-1-2, and sections 4-1-5, but conveniently ignored section 4-1-4. That is selective interpretation of the law, and it's wrong. I am here as an outsider or a White Walker, and I get 5 minutes. And any other name you want to call me, I don't bend the knee to anyone but Almighty God. And while some may try to frame this as one voice, one complaint, make no mistake, this is a growing movement. It includes patriots of every race, religion, background, and walk of life. We are united by a shared purpose to restore the sacred neutrality of government, to return lawful governments to Robert's rules, and demand accountability from those who violated the public trust.
Mr. Perry, if you'd like to share your side, we appreciate it.
I get 5 minutes. You did not vote on this. That's an Open Meeting Act violation. First Amendment rights.
And actually violated his First Amendment.
Yep. Agreed.
Any other public comments? Any additional public comments? Sir, if you could come up to the podium, state your name, your residence, we'll put 3 minutes on the clock for you.
My name is Jeremy Brown, 615 Toll Street. I'd like to start off by telling everyone in, around, and out of the community, I am sorry and I apologize if they were offended by my use of the swastika. My sole intention was not to offend anybody, but rather bring attention to the issue of the ideologies being displayed on government buildings and the dangers that it brings with it. It brings division, hatred, and just basically, we don't need that in our town. I'd also like to add that the media outlets haven't given the whole issue a fair shake, so I understand why so many people misunderstood the point. Now, why is the council not voting on issues? Why are you not voting on to remove the nativity scene? Why are you not voting to put up pride flags? Why are you not voting to change the speaking time to 3 minutes? Why are you not voting to change us residents only having one chance to speak? And why is this council not working together for the betterment of the town? What is the whole point of town council if only a few make decisions for the town? It's completely slanted in one direction and we're sick of it. Do you guys have any comment to that at all? Like why one person's just making decisions unilaterally or no? Okay. I have over 165 signatures at this point in time with 100 registered voters to remove the mayor. I'm not the only person who feels this way. Now the mayor can either resign or we can remove her. If you want to be the first Wyoming elected official to be removed from office, we can do that and make history. So let's do it. Are you going to be resigning at this point in time or?
No, I will not.
Do you have any reason why you won't?
I do.
Okay. Well, like I said, I have the signatures, and if we have to go through this, we'll do it because, you know, I'm very committed, and I understand an immovable object is meeting an immovable force. And at this point, like I said, the citizens of this paper and this petition have spoken loudly and clearly, and we will send you a message and remove you from office. Okay?
I appreciate your dedication, sir.
I'm sure you do. And then why is she allowed to still have things in her office and displayed what other people can't display anything? She's in violation of your own attorney that's saying that you can't do this. Right? Aaliyah Scott?
Oh, I'm not responding. This is a public comment time, so I would just recommend you use that time to.
Right. Well, that's what I'm
saying.
asking. I'm trying to get some clarification. Why is she allowed to still have decorations in her office? Why nobody else can put anything on the building at all? No? No comment? Okay. Well, I see you got 23 seconds. I'm still not done talking. So, yeah. No, you guys just silent? No answers? Nothing? Anybody? Are you allowed to speak? Do you have your own free will? Or are you being told not to speak?
Mr. Rona, I do have a prepared statement for when you're done tonight, so I will give an overview of my assessment over the last 2 weeks or a month.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any additional public comments?
At this point, I have an additional comments.
Do you want to do your public comment? This lady here.
Oh,
wanted to
by
say
all
as well.
means, please go ahead.
Wanted to give her that moment. Ma'am, if you'd come up, state your name, your residence, we'll put 3 minutes on the clock for you.
My name is Natalie Rollins. I live at 347 Curtis. I have lived here in Evansville almost all my life, and I have to say that those rainbow flags absolutely disgust me. To me, those represent, where do I start? Pedophilia-ism. Trans, these people, you know, don't know. These people who are so utterly disgusted, and I mean, you guys, abortion, and yes, pedophiliaism, and you guys, the books that they have in our schools for our kids, do you guys know what that is about? They basically teach your grandchildren how to have sex. You guys want that? They're grooming our kids. We just got out of the Biden area is gone. Trump said that the pride flag is not allowed in any government, federal government. It should allow for all city and state. And why are you not getting motions to change the rules on Jeremy's questions? I'm kind of curious to know that myself. And
Do you have a specific question that you're asking? Because
why do you still have the flags up in your office?
I do not. You might want to go look.
Well, last I knew you did. And I also just want to comment about on the email that you sent to Jeremy. You said, oh, we're gonna, we'll compromise here and I'll take it down Sunday. That was your total plan from the beginning. So you lied to him. You tried to make it all sound good and great that, yeah, I'll take it down Sunday, when that was your whole plan to begin with. I myself agree with you resigning, and I hope you choose to do so.
Thank you, ma'am. Any additional public comments? Yes, ma'am. Please come up. If you can state your name, your residence, we'll go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock for you.
I probably won't need that long, but my name is Marcy Sheppy. I'm at 50 Missouri. I wasn't going to comment today because I just wanted to come here to start getting involved. But my comment is, there's a lot of emotions in the room. The lady sitting in the row behind me have been cackling, whispering and talking through the whole process. I was having trouble hearing a lot of you talk. It would be nice if everybody had respect for each other. Amen. And stop it. Look, we're right here the whole time, especially when the citizens came up to talk. They were cackling and making fun. This is not a cackling situation. I'm sorry. That's all.
Thank you.
I am not ashamed. I just want to be respectful.
Are there any additional public comments? Ma'am, if you'll come up, state your name, your residence, we'll put 3 minutes on the clock for you.
Tina Edwards, I live in Missouri. So I've lived here for over 26 years and I'm so disappointed. So disappointed. People taking credit for other people's work, that we're just not going to go there. I'm just sad. It's so sad. And my question to you, Candace, you used to be great. And then you signed the paper to be mayor. And then you're not so great. What made you think you could put flags on a government building? I work for a state building. Never would that be it's a government building. My question is, why? You caused all of this, and it's sad.
Thank you. Any additional public comments? Last call for public comments.
I would have some
Get
comments.
on up there, ladies. You have so much to say.
We haven't said a word
Ladies,
to each other.
please keep decorum. Councilman?
Yes, this is a public statement from me, Greg Flesvig, as a council member and resident of Evansville. I'm addressing the controversy surrounding the mayor's actions regarding flag displays at Town Hall. This statement outlines and expresses a disapproval of the mayor's conduct and accounts for accountability. The mayor independently, unilaterally placed flags and initiated a campaign perceived as antagonistic against Evansville citizens. Actions included knowingly violating state ordinances related to flag displays on the town property. These actions are not well received by the public, leading to increased division between the mayor and the community. I don't agree with either flag, and they were displayed, but they criticize the mayor's persistent antagonization against the citizens. I believe the public is owed an apology for the mayor's behavior and extends one on behalf of the council. I apologize for the mayor's behavior. The mayor acted unilaterally while consulting the council, following proper procedures with no votes, emails, or discussions. This incident prompted significant correspondence with citizens via social media and email, echoing concerns raised by myself. I'd like to emphasize the importance of transparency and proper conduct by town officials. I hope the situation is coming to a close and express a desire to avoid similar incidents in the future. And I would like to see some potential disciplinary actions under our town rules of ethics. On behalf of the citizens of this town and those that spoke, I am formally presenting a letter of resignation to the mayor.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you.
Last call, public comments. Ma'am, if you can come up, state your name, address, and we'll put 3 minutes on the clock for you.
My name is Crystal Libbert and I live at 1119 Park Lane.
Oh, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was under the impression you just gave your resignation.
No, I offered the resignation letter for the mayor to sign, effective immediately.
Okay, I thought you were resigning.
Incorrect, I'm sorry.
No, okay.
Thank you for the clarity.
Okay, thanks.
Did you get the name and
Sorry,
address
I was just
okay?
like, wait a minute, what?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. All right, we're gonna let this lady go ahead and speak.
Okay.
We
just-
apologize.
oh,
We'll put 3 minutes on the clock for you.
Thank you. I too grew up in Evansville, very proud of my home. For me, the flags weren't a religious thing necessarily, and it wasn't a people thing. I have gay people in my life that I love dearly, but I just feel like that crossed a line that it shouldn't have crossed. I mean, me, myself, I feel like a minority because I'm a white, female, conservative, Republican, I'm heterosexual. So now I feel like I'm kind of like, I don't know, it's just so weird in this world that we live in now. And it's really sad to see the disrespect from other people because I feel like we can find ways to make this work where everybody feels it's fair and not acting like rude children about it. I appreciate what you guys all do. And I just want to find some peace. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am. Last call, public comments. Public comments are closed. Do I have a motion to adjourn into executive session?
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Adjournment into executive session at 8:14 p.m.
Oh, yeah.